There you go. And everybody can hear me, right? Just nobody can answer though, because I muted you. So all you got to do is raise your hands and I can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I just wanted to say good morning to everybody and thank you for being here. Today's talk is going to be about the power of belief and why it's so important. But having all the belief in the world and not showing up doesn't help anything. So I want to commend everybody who's here today, everybody who took their Saturday mornings to be with us on this call, on this training. I'm celebrating you because this is the step that it takes. And so many people could have been here, so many people are not here. And it's just really amazing to me that people want to be involved, they want to learn, they want to know more, they want to build their business, but they don't show up because they have this excuse or that excuse. And yet I know on this call, there are people from all over the world. There are people from other countries who, it's almost midnight for them and they're still taking their time to be here. So I'm just excited. I'm excited for all of you and I'm excited for me to get to share and be a part of your journey. So as far as belief goes, there's three key things that you have to have in order to be successful in this business. And those beliefs are as follows. Number one is belief in the product. Number two is belief in the industry. And number three is belief in yourself. Some of those are a lot easier than others. And as I go through and explain my story or share my story and my journey with this, it's so amazing to me because I feel like I struggled a lot and didn't, okay, hang on one second, I just hit the wrong button there. So there I go, I'm back. And I feel like I had to become a different person or really grow through the experience that I want to share with all of you today. So first and foremost, again, I want to say thank you. And now I want to take you back and share my journey, my story with you of what it took for me to create success, but mostly where I came from, because that is key to this. Because I started this when I was 50 years old. That's 50. That was in 1997. So yes, you can do the math. That's what everybody does when I say that. So everybody knows how old I am. And I'm totally good with that. But I want you to know that that's when I started, because right now there are so many people who are 50-somethings who are trying to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their life, who are working to, maybe looking for a new career, maybe looking for an exit strategy, people who are still working, who are scared because the company is downsizing and they're getting pink slipped and they just don't know what they're going to do. And so, you can just look around. You can look around and see what's happening in our economy and our society. You can walk into Walmart and see the greeters that are there that are in their 70s. And, it may be that some people are doing that because it's what they choose to do and they want something to do. But you know that most people didn't plan on spending their golden years doing that. We have a challenge, and network marketing is a vehicle. It's a total vehicle to transform your life and change that. So back to my story. Again, I started in 1997. I was 50, I was dead broke, and I was living in an apartment in Central Florida. And I was a single mom, raised two kids on my own. And it was a challenge for me. My kids spent their entire childhood in daycare. I had 2 jobs, I had 3 jobs. I did whatever I had to do. I barely had money to put food on the table for my kids. I was on government assistance, and my kids grew up eating SpaghettiOs, mac and cheese, hot dogs, canned ravioli. I can't even believe I'm saying this. We're in a wellness company, and I look back and see why there are so many health challenges. And it's, okay, wait, I'm getting a message that people can't hear me. Can you hearing me okay? Okay, I'm just making sure. So tough upbringing. I had a real struggle as I was raising my kids. And I look back now and I feel really, really bad for that because I wasn't there for them. I did everything I could as a mom, but I surely don't feel like they got the best of me because I didn't know any other option other than what I had, which is go to work, come home, feed my kids, help with homework, put them to bed, you know, do everything that I could do, and then start all over again, take them to daycare, bring them back. That was my life. I have no education. I barely got out of high school. So I've got no degrees. I've got nothing over anybody else and less than most of the people who are successful in network marketing, and yet I'm still here. So it's really important that I share that, because I came from nothing. I was poor my whole life, and at 50, I remember sitting in my apartment thinking to myself, how does a person ever quit working? How do I ever stop? And I didn't have an answer, because all I knew is I didn't have any money in the bank, and I didn't feel like working till I was 90. You know, I'm like, what is a person supposed to do? Because if I wasn't going to work, I wasn't getting paid. So it was very, very frustrating. I was having some health challenges at the time. A lot of things in my life were going wrong. I was working 60 hours a week, and I know there's many people here that are still working, and they're in their 50s and they're in their 60s, and you know, they haven't planned their exit strategy, or they didn't know there was an option for an exit strategy, which is where I was. So I got introduced to network marketing, all right, 1997. It came to me because of the products. I actually got products in the mail. I wish I could say that, you know, I had this great epiphany about the network marketing industry and how wonderful it would be to be a part of it and how I was going to change my life, but that isn't what happened. I got pills in the mail from my daughter, actually, because I was having some health challenges, and I immediately decided after that, you know, as I started taking the products, I decided I was going to run my mouth, because it's who I am. It's who I am at my core, is somebody who is a caretaker and wants to change the world and wants to help people, because I believe that's why we're all here. And so I started taking products. I started feeling better. Next thing you know, people are going, Lynn, you look different. You look better. What are you doing? Well, I'm taking these products. Well, how do we get them? Well, I didn't really know. You know, that's how I started this. Just so, you know, it came through the back door in the least likely way. And now as I look back, I know this was an answer to prayer. I didn't know it then. I didn't know what it was. So I started taking the products. Next thing you know, I'm in the business, because my daughter says, well, you know what, you could buy it cheaper if you just sign up as a rep. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll do that, but I'm not going to do anything with this. You know, I'm just going to take the products. And if anybody asks, you know, I'll let them know. So that was my humble beginning to network marketing in 1997. And I played around with this for 4.5 years. And by play around with it, what I mean is that I love the products. I wanted to help people with the products. I shared the products, but I never, ever talked about the business. And the reason is because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be a network marketer. I didn't really know what network marketing was. I just knew it must be a very bad thing based on the way everybody reacted whenever I said it. So I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to be one of those. I just want to help people. I mean, I would drive 40 miles to help somebody who had a pain in their knee, you know, to help them with a product. I was all over the place with the products. I also was dealing with a lot of personal things in my own mind that was saying, you know, okay, I'm helping these people and I feel really good about that. But somehow the idea that I was making money off of helping somebody made me feel like it didn't count as much. I don't know why. I'm just being real with everybody here, because these are the things I battled in my head. I felt like if I'm helping you, that's a wonderful thing. If I'm making money and helping you, there's an issue with that. I don't know why. And then I prayed silently that nobody would ask me if it was network marketing, because somehow I felt like it would devalue what I was doing. So I spent 4.5 years in this realm, and I was making really nice money part-time. I was leading with the products. I was helping people with their ailments. I was doing it all. And I was making an extra maybe $400 or $500 a week while I still had a full-time job. And so for me, I felt like I died and gone to heaven. I mean, it was the most money I ever had, but it didn't change the fact that I was still working 60 hours a week. And now I'm in my mid-50s, because 4.5 years in, right? So what I did is I decided I was going to attend an international convention for our company. And the reason I went there, being quite honest with everybody here, the reason I went was because I wanted to prove to myself that I couldn't do this. Because it was on my mind, and I kept thinking, if I could just do it a little better, I could quit my job, I could do a little bit more. So I went to this event because I wanted to see what the people look like, the ones who were making the big money. And I thought they were all going to be college graduates, people in three-piece suits and alligator shoes, standing up there on the stage saying, rah, rah, you can all do this. That's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting a room full of ordinary people, just like me, who had created extraordinary incomes for themselves, people who had changed their life completely because they chose network marketing as their future. That's what I wasn't expecting. So as I was sitting in this room, and I'll never forget it because I had my sister with me, and as I was sitting there, there was a man up on stage, and he was a plumber, and he was chewing gum, and he was saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I used to be a plumbing contractor. It's what I did for a living. And I remember this like it was yesterday, and at that very moment, I looked at my sister, and I said, if he can do this, we can do this. It was the very first time that I knew, the very first time that I knew that I could do this business, because it was people just like me who were there. It was at that event that I believed for the very first time that I could do this. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was clueless about the industry. I just know that after spending 4 days at that event, I made a decision. And the decision was that I drew a line in the sand, and I said, failure is not an option. I will build my future through network marketing. It was a decision. Prior to that, I had a strong belief in the products. I had zero belief in the industry, and less than zero belief in myself, which we're going to get to in a minute, because that's the biggest issue for so many people and why we're stuck. So that's when it transitioned for me. It's when I knew that I was going to build network marketing as my future. And again, I was in my mid-50s. So I'm going to go back now, and I want to talk about belief of the products. I'm going to start with that because I think that belief is something that a lot of you have. And, you know, the key to that is, you know, we have amazing products in RX. We absolutely do. But you've got to become a product of the product. That is the key. To establish your belief in what we have to offer, you have got to take the products. You can't be in a situation where somebody says, well, how is the Pure Nourish? Well, gee, I don't know. I never tried that. It didn't come in my pack. You know, well, how is this? Well, gee, I haven't experienced that. You have to change the way you look at these products. And to build a business, which is why we're here. We are network marketers. We're here to build a business. You've got to look at the products as products that you are taking for your health, number one, but also you've got to use them, and you've got to look at your purchases as redirectional spending. That is how I look at the products that I put in my body. I don't look at them as an expense for network marketing. So many people, they get started and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to spend $100 a month or $200 a month or whatever it is. And these are products that are for your health, first and foremost, because health is wealth, and there is nothing more important. And until you're in a position where you're about to lose your health, you know, maybe that hasn't come full circle, but it will, trust me. And so taking care of your body is number one. And to be a good spokesperson for this company and for this industry, and for RX, you have got to have a powerful belief that these are the finest products that you are putting in your body, and you will take them for life, whether you are making money at this or not making money at this. That is the part that I want to make sure everybody is clear on, because I feel like some people, they're taking some products, they're not sure why, they haven't experienced the rest of the products, like the air filter. Oh my gosh, we are breathing unclean air in our homes. I've heard testimony after testimony, and I wish I could tell you all of those. I wish I could share my own testimony on that. but we're doing things for the inside of our body with our products, and we don't have an air filter sitting in our house, and we're breathing toxic air every single day, and pet dander, and people are suffering from allergies and all of these things because the toxins are everywhere. They're everywhere. So getting an air filtration system in your home is paramount to your health. And studying about these products and understanding why you want them. If you want to share something with people and get them to take a look at your products, I always use the toothpaste. It just cracks me up because my whole life, my dentist recommended Crest. My dentist still recommends Crest, actually. Every time I go and they do your cleaning, they give me a little tube of Crest. When people say to me, well, why is ours different? Why would you do this or why would you do that? I have them read the back of their toothpaste tube, right? Most people don't know that they are brushing their teeth and filling their kids' mouths and their grandkids' mouth full of toothpaste that is so toxic that there is a warning label on the back of the tube. So if you use Crest or any other kind of toothpaste, whatever it is, okay, if you're not using RX toothpaste, I just want you to read the back of the tube, and it says, warning, if more than the amount used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, contact poison control immediately. It's horrible. It is about education. And I remember when my grandkids come to visit and I'm buying bubblegum flavored toothpaste and cherry flavored toothpaste before I knew better, and I am pouring it on the toothbrush and I'm like, swallow this, brush, add more. And then I read that this is toxic. So I want you to educate yourself. I want you to educate yourself on the products so that you are a strong believer and you speak from passion of something that you want to share with people, not that you're trying to sell them something. Well, I use the toothpaste because it's a great example because it freaks everybody out. And, then everybody on my team adds toothpaste to their auto delivery. Just because. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm talking about having a belief in the products that you're consuming. Understanding all the brands. You don't have to take everything. I just know it's important that you know what you're representing and you have a belief that is so strong in these products that people will see that when they talk to you. They will know that that is your passion. And again, you want to redirect your spending. You want to look at it like that. It is not an expense to get products coming to you. How many times in my life, I look at this and I'm like, I have a favorite hairspray. All of a sudden, I'm out of hairspray. I'm running low, and I'm busy, and I can't get to the store. And I'm like, I got to get over there. I got to get my hairspray. This week, I'm going to go get that hairspray. And I don't make it. I don't make it. And the next thing you know, I'm in another store picking up something which isn't what I wanted, which isn't the same quality as what I had. Well, the same thing happens with your supplements. The exact same things happen. That's why I want you to make sure that you get your auto delivery set up, that you let your people know that it's important. It's important for the convenience. You don't want to spend your time. You don't want them to run out. And as importantly, they're going to get 30% off. 30% off of the products because they're on the auto delivery. So you want to set your customers up that way. So belief in the products, it is key. It is absolutely key. Customers are a huge part of our business, and your belief in the products and being able to share that with people. And these products impact lives, and everybody that's here knows that. And it's amazing to me that you can believe in something so big and yet still be stuck and not be able to deliver the message. So the highlight for this part to me is, making sure you're taking things, making sure you have a testimonial. If you don't have a particular testimonial, borrow somebody else's. My gosh, there are so many stories out there. The SlenderX and Accelerate, it's incredible what these products have done. It's absolutely incredible, the lives that have changed and the pounds that have been shed. If you're not experiencing that for yourself, or if you don't need to lose weight, then borrow somebody else's story. Just know that you have the finest products on the planet and own that. All right, so that's the belief in the products. I want to move on to belief in the industry because that's where I struggled and that's where a lot of people struggled. When I went to this event in 2002 is when I decided for the first time, as I said earlier, that I was going to build this industry. that this was going to be my future. I didn't know how. I was not a network marketer. I hadn't a clue how I was going to do it. But what I learned, and what is so important to me, is that the decision has to come before the how-tos. And that is something that I did at that event. I can't even tell you. Again, I remember it like it was yesterday. I sat there and I drew this line on a piece of paper and I said, this will be my future. Network marketing is my future. I didn't get all caught up on, oh my gosh, who am I going to talk to? What if they say no? How am I going to do it? How am I going to talk to the people? Where am I going to find my people? I didn't do any of that. I made a decision. And the decision was, when I came back from that event, that this was my future. I knew it. I knew it when I went there and I saw it, because it was the first time that I ever realized that this was possible for somebody like me. And it was so important because, as I said, you guys, in the mama department, I wasn't there for my kids. All I did was work and struggle and stress about how I was going to feed them and how I was going to take care of them. But in the Nana department, because of the choice that I made in 2002, I deliver, and I deliver big. And it is the most important thing to me. And it got me past all the other challenges that I faced, is that I made a decision for the first time in my life. I realized that I wasn't going to leave my future to chance anymore, that I was going to create it, that the best way to predict it was to create it, that those people did it, so I was going to do it. Now, because I didn't know how, I didn't know what to do, I went up to Fred Cooper, who most of you know, or many of you will know soon if you don't. All right, he's the CEO of our company. I knew him way back then because I was in a former company. He was the president, and I went up to him and I said, I would like to make $250,000 a year. This is me, who was on food stamps earlier and working 60 hours. I've just decided that I am going to build my future in network marketing. I would like to make $250,000 a year. How do I do that? And he said to me, I want you to find 4 people who want to make a minimum of $50,000 a year each. And your job is to help those 4 people get that money. And when you do that, you will be earning $250,000 a year. And I was like, wow, 4 people. I thought, oh my gosh, this is a piece of cake. I'm thinking, I live in Central Florida, right? There's 18 million people here. That means I'm going to go home. I need 4. I'll get 2 from the north, 2 from the south, however it works. I'm just going to find 4 people. They're going to say, yay, we're going to make 50 grand a year each. Let's do it. I thought it would be a piece of cake. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't a piece of cake. And it was so interesting to me because when he told me that, I realized I didn't need 200 people like I thought, or 2,000 people. I needed to find 4 people who really wanted to do this. And so when I came back from this event, I sat down and I looked at my life and I started thinking about where I had been and where I want to be. And I started envisioning what my life would look like if I was making $250,000 a year. And if I could wake up every day and not have my life influenced by time or money or the lack of either, that I made the choice, that I would make the choice at my core, in my heart of hearts, as to how I was going to spend my day. And the idea that I got to create the future that I wanted made me cry. I was just bawling my eyes out because I finally understood that it was up to me. It was all up to me. Those people had done it. I made a decision that I was going to do it. I had a belief in the products. I didn't have a belief in the industry. When I left there, I had a belief in the industry. But I decided for the first time, or I realized that it was up to me how I wanted to live my future. And all along, over years and years and years, people had always said to me, Lynn, if you want more in your life, you just have to write goals. But, you know, you have to write them down. You can't just keep them in your head because you'll never get them. You have to write them down. And so every year, every New Year's Eve, I would write down my goals. And every year it would be the same. I want to lose weight and I want to make more money. Those are my goals for 50 years, right? Those are my goals. And at the end of all the 50 years, I was still fat and broke. So I knew that wasn't going to work. What I knew had changed when I went to this event was that I made a decision. And when I make a decision for anything, I have no middle. I am not a little bit in. If I make a decision, I'm either 100% in or else I'm 100% not in. And maybe that's a personality flaw, but that's how I operate. 100%. So when I came back, I thought I can have whatever I want because I am going to make $250,000 a year. Then it was about thinking about what that was going to be. And that became a vision for me. And it was the first time in my life that I realized that a vision was different than a goal. And I started picturing my life as though I was already there because I already knew what I had to do to get there. I had to find 4 people who wanted to make 50 grand a year or more, and I had to help them. And I'm a caretaker. I love helping people. I made that decision that I was going to do that. So I started picturing the life that I was going to live, the life that I would have when I was making that kind of money. And it was the most amazing, powerful thing because I wrote on a piece of paper my life in present tense 2 years down the road as though I was already there, as though I was already living it. I wrote what I now call a vision statement. And it said, you know, it's 2004, February, whatever it was. It's February 2004. I am now living at the beach. I'm sitting on my porch having a glass of red wine, listening to the roar of the ocean. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I had just returned from a cruise where I took all of my family with me. I was doing this, I was doing that. I pictured this life that I was now living, and I had chills all over every single time I read it because it was what I felt like I was put here to do. I have always known, always, even in the worst of times for me, that I was put here to do more than I was doing. I knew I had a purpose. I knew I wasn't living it. Through this vehicle of network marketing, I found my voice. So putting this vision on paper is what created for me the vehicle for people to follow. And by that, I mean, I owned it. I wrote my vision in present tense, and I knew that that was my life. And I came back and I went out and started talking to people, and I would say, you know what? This is exactly what I said. I've been screwing around with this for 4.5 years. I am now getting ready to launch my business. I'm expanding my marketing team in the area. I'm looking for a few select people. A few select people. I no longer was attached to the outcome of what anybody said to me. I no longer cared if they rejected me. For the first 4.5 years in this business, every time I talked to somebody or network marketing came up and they laughed, said no, said I'd never make it in this industry, why didn't I get a real job, all of that, I was devastated. I was cut off at the knees. I took it all personal. I felt rejected. It was horrible. So I make a decision in 2002. I draw my line in the sand. I come home and I write on a piece of paper that 2 years from now, this is the life that I will be living. This is my life. And I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. It was real. I owned it. It was in present tense as though I was already living it. And as a result of that vision that I put on the paper, I now knew that that was my future. And more importantly, everybody I talked to knew that that was my future. And even more importantly than that was that I no longer cared what anybody thought about my vision or my choice or my decision to do network marketing. Because all the people who were laughing and all the people who were saying, why don't you, oh my gosh, I can't believe you got sucked into one of those things are illegal. all of that stuff. I look now, and those are the people that are still commuting back and forth on, you know, I-95 to dead-end jobs that they hate, making 1/10 of what I'm making. Once I wrote my vision, I no longer cared what anybody thought. And that's what I want everybody here to understand. You have the ability to create the life that you want. You have to get a belief in this industry and know that it can deliver for you. I studied to get that belief. I listened to Tim Sales. I listened to Brilliant Compensation. Jim Rohn, oh my gosh, phenomenal. I listened to all of his things so I'd understand how not to be rejected when people said no. I love Robert Kiyosaki's The Perfect Business. It's brilliant. I studied that. I looked at everything. I read everything. And I realized after this event and through what I did when I came home to educate myself on the power of this industry, I knew that failure was not an option for me. This was the most powerful industry, and it was the only one where an average person like me could win, could change the whole course of my destiny and my children's destiny and my grandchildren's destiny. It's a vehicle that allows an average person, an ordinary person, to achieve extraordinary things in their life. And I never understood that until I went there, till I went to the event, till I heard the people who had chosen this. And I realized for the very first time that this was a powerful industry. And yes, it's hard. I'm not going to say it's not hard. I'm not going to say that I got my 4 people right off the bat. Actually, I got 4. I probably got 40. I got a whole lot of them. And it was easy to find people who wanted to make 50 grand a year. They all raised their hand and said, pick me, sure, I'm in. I want to do that. But then when it came down to doing the work that it took to make it happen, they went out just as fast as they came in. And, I realized as I was doing this that it was my dream for them. As I'm talking to people, it was my dream for them, but it was never their dream. It wasn't theirs. When I wrote my vision, I realized that this was my dream. It was my dream. And this is a powerful, powerful industry. And I have such a strong belief in this industry. The challenge was I didn't know exactly how to find a team or how to identify who the people were that were really going to do it, how to find the leaders, how to find the people that I wanted to gather in order for me to be living at the beach and living this life. And so I got the book from John Maxwell. And I know some of you have heard me talk about this. It was life-changing for me. The 17 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork by John Maxwell. It was the most powerful education for me. I could quote so many things in that book. But the thing that stands out in my mind was that he said, if you have a Mount Everest-sized dream, which is what was on my paper, if you have a Mount Everest-sized dream, the only way that you're going to get there is to put together a Mount Everest-sized team. If you do not have a team to match the size of your dream, you have 2 choices. You either give up your dream or you find a new team. Those were the 2 options I had. After 4.5 years in this business, finally taking ownership, finally getting a strong belief that this was the only way to create freedom in my life. I loved the industry. I started living this industry with passion. I had my vision of where I was going to be. And for the first time, I understood that I got to pick my partners because I had a Mount Everest-sized dream. And I wasn't going to settle or beg or plead or try and talk people into doing this and, stalk them so that nobody wanted to show up at the next party that I was going to be at because I was going to be talking about network marketing. I decided when I wrote my vision and when I took ownership of this business that it was up to me to build my Mount Everest-sized team. And so when I went out, people knew that. And I would just say, you know what? This is where I'm going to be in 2 years. With or without you. This train is moving with or without you. You can hop on or you can get out of the way. That was my posture. That has been my posture since the day I made the decision that this industry was the most powerful tool to create freedom in our lives where we are no longer trading our time for dollars working for somebody else. And I don't care if you love what you do. I talk to doctors all day long, and they say, well, Lynn, why would I want to do this? You know, I already make $4,000 or, you know, $4,000 a week or $400,000 a year, whatever. I had a doctor say, I already make over $400,000 a year. Why would I want to do this? And I said, well, first of all, because I make more than you, but second, because you have a beeper stuck to your hip. And when was the last time you had a vacation? If you don't work, you don't get paid. That is not freedom. And whatever it takes for all of you to get the total concept that this is the most powerful industry, read, study, whatever you have to do. I've thrown out some of the things, you know, that I use to educate myself, but there's lots of other books and there's lots of other things to listen to. You have got to have a belief in the industry you are in and be proud of it. That is tough for a lot of people. It was tough for me in the beginning until I wrote my vision, until I made my decision. I had a belief in the products. And then it was time for a belief in the industry. And that was the toughest part. And I took notes, and I want to see if I have anything that on here that I haven't said, and I don't. I guess I know it's in my heart, it's in my head as to how I feel about this. I made the decision to take ownership of this industry. There are a lot of people in network marketing who have not taken ownership of the industry. They do not have a belief. They have a belief it'll work for other people. They may have a belief that it's a great industry, but I'm going to move on to the next belief, which is a belief in yourself, because that is the part that so many people don't have. And it was really interesting for me, because as I was sitting at this particular convention, I'm like, I'm going to do this. They can do it. I can do it. I mean, they were plumbers, they were housewives, they were carpenters. They were not people with big educations, which is what I thought. They were normal people. I knew that I had to understand and get this belief. But when I came back and wrote the vision, all right, I got my vision down. I studied the industry, and I had the industry down. So now I had a belief in the products, and I had a belief in the industry, how powerful it was and what it was going to do for me. And then I came to the hard part. And the hard part was the belief in myself. And I know that that's where so many people are stuck. And I look back now at where I was, and I'm being real with everybody here. I'm just sharing where I came from, because I didn't have a belief in myself. Why would anybody want to follow me into a business? A dead broke person who is 50 pounds overweight, living in an apartment, never graduated college, odd jobs was all I did. But I had a vision. I had products, I had a belief, and I had a vision. I had a vision of what I was going to do. But I had to get past that part. Why would they follow me? How was I going to talk to people? Why would they listen to me? They were all smarter than me. Then I had worthiness issues. Why would I deserve this? You know, I've never amounted to anything. I was a failure as a mom. I had all of this stuff to deal with, which is why I wrote my book once I got through this, called Getting Out of Your Own Way. Because I realized through this whole journey that, you know, RX gives us everything. We have the products. We have the most powerful industry with the most powerful pay plan. The reason that we struggle has nothing to do with that, with RX. It has to do with us. It has to do with what's between our ears. That is the issue. That is what holds us back. And so as I was going through this, I was realizing that I now am going to pick my partners. I have a vision of what I want to do. I had to get out of a comfort zone that I'd been in for so long. I had to decide that, you know, I was put here for a purpose, and it was my time. It was my time to let my light shine. I had to decide that my dream was bigger than all the fears that I had. I had to decide that regardless of where I've been, that's got nothing to do with where I'm going. This is my future, and I want this, and I want it badly. And I didn't try and figure out all the details of how I was going to get it in advance. I just knew I had to do it. It was like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, about ready to take this leap of belief in myself and start my journey. I was jumping off a cliff and I was going to build my wings on the way down. It felt kind of like that. Like, holy crap. Okay, I have this part, I have this part. I believe in the industry. I've got the best products. I've got everything. Now what? Now it's up to me. Now it's up to me to do it. Because the biggest vision on the planet and the biggest belief on the planet and the biggest understanding of your compensation plan and everything else will not help you build this business if you don't do it, because you're stuck, because you're attached to the outcome and worrying what everybody else is going to think about what you're doing. Why do you care? That's the part I had to get to. I had to get to where I didn't care what they thought about what I was doing. This was my vision. I was going to live at the beach. I was going to take my family on a cruise. I was going to sit at the ocean and wake up every day with my husband and live the life that I was put here to live. That's what I was going to do. Why do I care what everybody else thinks? Why do I care if they say no? Why? I didn't anymore. When I started believing in myself and letting all of that stuff go, I figured out for the first time that this is business. It's just business. Not everybody wants to do the same business I do. Lots of people are going to say no. Most people thought I was nuts. Most people still think I'm nuts. I don't care. I didn't care once I made my decision. I don't care now. It was so interesting to me because I went to this training, and I'll never forget this. It's another one of those impactful things that really hit me hard. Huge room full of people, probably 1,000 people there. This woman is standing up on stage and she goes, I used to be a flight attendant. It's what I used to do for a living. And I would walk up and down the aisles and I would ask people, would you like a cup of coffee? They'd say, no, thank you, I don't drink coffee. Would you like coffee? No, I don't want coffee. Coffee? No, thank you, no coffee. Coffee? No, I'll take tea. Would you like coffee? No, I don't want any coffee. She said 90% of the people never drank coffee, but not once did I run to the bathroom and cry my eyes out. She goes, get a grip, people. That's exactly what she said, because we were all network marketers. She said 90% of the people said no. And I never once ran to the bathroom and cried my eyes out. So get a grip. And that was so impactful to me. And it also changed my posture. And that is the key to this, because once I had my vision in place, people started to follow me. They didn't follow me because I'd already achieved what was on this paper. They followed me because they knew I was going somewhere, and I knew that's where I was going to be in 2 years. And they wanted what I had. They wanted what I had before I ever got there because I owned it. And I knew that that was my future. There was not a doubt in my mind. And I know I did it for 24 months. So I'm like, okay, now today I wake up and I'm so happy because I only have 20 months left. And people would say to me, why are you so happy? Because 20 months from now, I'm going to be living at the beach. I'm going to be out of here. I'm living at the beach. I'm going to be on the ocean. And I'm like, really? What are you doing? All of a sudden, I was happy because I knew that I had just created the future that I was moving into. And everybody else was stuck in mediocrity. They were in jobs, again, that didn't fulfill them, or jobs that did fulfill them, but they were tired. And they wanted what I had. And they wanted what I had because I took ownership of it. And that is the key to me, is that you have to get to the place where you believe in you. And I can't give you that. I can't. I read, I studied, I did Think and Grow Rich. I worked on my brain. I did everything, but nothing made it more powerful and more real for me than writing my vision statement. Because every day when I was beating my head against a wall and people were saying, no, I'm not going to do this, no, 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 I would read this vision statement every day that I felt like quitting. And I would say to myself, Lynn, what will it cost you if you quit? And I knew it was this. It was what was on this paper, and I wasn't willing to give it up. I wasn't willing to let this go. And because I wasn't willing to let it go, I was willing to do whatever it took. I don't care if it was 90 hours a week. I don't care if it was putting signs on my car, which was the most insane, uncomfortable thing I've ever done in my life. It was about finding where the people are. What do I do? How do I find them? How do I get to my 4 people? I was going here. And I can't tell you how important it is that you have enough belief in yourself to stand up and fight for the future that you deserve. I took 15 members of my family on a cruise back in 2006, including my 84-year-old mother. And at the end of that trip, she said to me, "This has been the best week of my life. The best week of my life." And my grandson, who was 4 at the time, when the cruise was over, he was crying. And he's like, "Nana, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. I want to live here." He didn't want to get off the ship. I got to do that and experience that. And I'm sorry I'm getting all emotional, but this is an emotional business. And you have to be attached to the outcome you're looking for at an emotional level. I don't want it to be, gee, I want to make 200 grand a year. I want to know what that 200 grand feels like. I want to know what you're doing at a heart level that makes it big enough that you fight. Because it was a fight. And no matter what I did, and I didn't have an upline, you guys. I didn't have anybody to help me. I just knew that I had a vision, and I needed to find 4 people who wanted to make $50,000 a year. And I had to find them and help them do it. That was the only thing I knew. So for people now on my team in this business, when they're complaining and they're like, "Well, you know, I don't have anybody to help me, and my upline's not putting anybody under me, and no, nobody's sponsoring under me," I'm like, get over it. It's not your upline's job. It's not your downline's job. It's your job to build your business. If you have somebody that's helping you, that's a plus. I had nobody helping me. I had a decision, a belief in the products, a powerful belief in this industry that it took me more than 4.5 years to get, where I am proud of it. And then I did the hardest work of all, and that was the belief on myself, that I was worthy, that I deserved it, that I should have a voice, and that I had the power to create whatever future that I wanted to create. That is what we have here. But each one of us has to do the work. And until I understood that clearly and realized the power of this business, I spent so much time, number 1, chasing people that weren't looking. Number 2, wanting it more for people than they did for themselves. Number 3, trying to talk people into buying products that, you know, I felt like I was selling to them and that they didn't really want. You know, I'd talk them into buying something that I felt like was important, and, you know, they'd leave me and pull into McDonald's. You know, we have to be the leaders, the advocates for everything if it's going to be our business. If you are going to get to 250 grand a year and that's what you want from this business, you have to be a product of the product. You have to attract people, which means people have to want what you have. Once I understood that, I realized where my issue was, because I didn't even want what I had. You know, that was the issue. I didn't want what I had. I was 50 pounds overweight. I was in very poor health. I was dead broke. I was living in an apartment. I was working 60 hours a week. I didn't want that. I had to work on me. It was the most interesting thing, because when I went to that convention, I walked up to somebody who was a big leader in the company, and I said to him, "If you could give me 2 pointers as to how I get where you are, what would they be?" And he said, "Number 1, build it quickly, because it's painful doing this slowly. If you're going to do it quickly. And number 2, he said, work on yourself first. I didn't even know what that meant, work on myself. I thought, okay. I had no idea what he was even talking about until I finally understood that it was me who was the issue because of what was between my ears. It was all me. And because I now knew that in order to attract the people that I wanted, like attracts like, right? And we all know that. In order to attract those people, I had to become that person. And so I'm asking each one of you, if you were standing, up on a stage talking to a group, you had 100 people in the room, and you're talking to these people, and you're saying to them, what you have to find is 4 people. I said this whole thing backwards, you guys. I'm going to re-say it. I didn't say this the way I meant to say it. You're looking for 4 people. What I'm asking you is, if you needed 4 people to take you to $250,000 a year to create total freedom, abundance, everything in your life, would you be looking for 4 people just like yourself? That is your question. I stood on the stage, which is what I started to say, had all these people in the room, and I asked that question to the audience. And they laughed. They were like, no, we'd be looking for 4 like you. And I'm like, therein lies the problem. It is our belief in ourselves and who we are that is going to have people follow us. I had doctors join my team. I had business professionals join my team. I had so many people following me, and I was a dead broke single mom from food stamps, never done network marketing before, and ended up taking 3 of my 4 people to the $1 Million Club. In addition to that, was a top income earner and a top speaker and published 2 books. And I remember vividly standing on a stage in Australia. I will never forget this. I'm standing on a stage to a packed house, and all of a sudden I just broke down crying. And I thought to myself, how did I get here? How did I get here? And I was so overwhelmed that this is my life. And still I'm in that place a lot of days. I feel so blessed at the abundance that I created, but it wasn't easy. All of the work was on me. And when people say, Lynn, this is so hard, this is hard, I'm like, yeah, it's hard. But you've worked hard for the last 20 years, and you're going to work hard for the next 20. So why don't we get the hard out of the way and just do this? Just decide. Here's the vision. You need to find 4 people. And it doesn't mean you need to find them tomorrow. I don't know what your vision is. Not everybody wants to earn $250,000 a year. Not everybody wants what I put on my paper. Maybe I gave myself only 2 years because I was so darn old when I started. I thought I better hurry. I didn't want to wait 10 years. But if it took you 5 years or 10 years to get there, what else do you have working for you in your life right now that's going to give you a residual income of that kind of money? It was so powerful. It's like I had this epiphany that, oh my gosh, I am so fortunate to have found this industry. And now I got to get outside of myself, and believe that I'm worth it. Believe I can do it. And taking that ownership, I know, is the stumbling block for 90% of the people in network marketing. I don't care how much time you spend memorizing the comp plan, feeling like you don't have every detail and you don't know exactly how to show people how they're going to get paid, and how much time you spend trying to memorize the ingredients in the products and picking them apart, or talking about the website, and all of these things that people spend all their time doing. I don't care how much time you spend memorizing all that. If you do not have the vision for yourself and the belief in yourself that you're going to do this with or without anybody, you will not succeed in this. You have to get past all of that. You got to be willing to jump off the cliff, to build your wings on the way down, like I said. And the most amazing part is you guys have leadership, because we have the most amazing team. And there's so many great leaders here, and we're here to help. And this it's just an amazing opportunity. And it's at the same time, as a leader, it's so frustrating for me to watch people that I know have all the potential in the world that are stuck, that don't move. And there's nothing that I can say that's going to change that. My job is not to keep calling people to inspire them, keep trying to talk them into it. It is your business. My job is to fulfill my vision, the same way your job is to fulfill your vision. So you're looking for people who are going to raise their hands and say, pick me. And that's where you spend your time. That's where you spend 100% of your time. That is exactly what I do. If somebody comes to me and says, you know, I really want to be on your team, I'm so good at sales, I could sell a comb to a bald man. I'm like, somebody actually told me that. And I'm thinking, you know, that's really funny, but that's not who I'm looking for. You know, I want somebody that has a heart to make a difference. I want somebody with integrity. And I want somebody who wants more, that will do what it takes on the hard days. Not just on the good ones, because some days suck. I don't know how else to say that. Some days you're banging your head on a wall thinking, why am I doing this? I spent so much time there. Every time, just, oh my gosh, this is so hard, this is so hard. And then I come back and I just read and read and read. I'm like, this is where I'm going to be. All right, so that plan isn't working, so I need a new plan. So where am I going to go next? And then I would go this way, and then I would go this way, and then I'd go that way. But the decision I made in the beginning was failure is not an option. The only way to fail at this business is to quit. It is the only way that you won't succeed. You have to do it. Again, you've got to put your dreams above your fears. You've got to get outside of your comfort zone, because inside of your comfort zone is not where your dreams are, or you wouldn't be here. What you have and what is safe and comfortable is not what you're looking for. You're looking for what's out here. And so many people, I just love RX and everything it stands for. And so many people, they say, Lynn, I have such a passion. You know, I want to do mission work. I want to do this. I want to help these people. I want to feed homeless. And I say the same thing. I've been saying it for years. You can't help the poor if you're one of them. You know, you have got to take care of yourself and build your business. If you want people to follow you in network marketing, you have to be a leader, which means you have to rank advanced, which means you have to be earning. When you're earning weekly checks, it's much easier to build this business. Everybody wants what you have. And I remember when I started, the goal that I had was that I had to get a paycheck every single week. I didn't care what it was, because I wanted to say to people, when they said, this is network marketing, I can't believe you did that. I'm saying, all I know is that I've gotten a paycheck every single week since I've started. And that was my goal. And I never backed down from that. Whatever it took, that I would get a paycheck every single week so that I could let people know that I was getting paid. Nobody said to me, gee, how much are your checks? Nobody said that. It was my posture that said, you know, I'm getting a paycheck every single week. And this is where I will be in 2 years, with or without you. So when you change your posture, you no longer feel like a begging network marketer. You believe in yourself. You believe in your vision. You already believe in the products. You now know that the industry works. The rest of it is about business. It's about a business strategy. And for many people, you may have been here for a long time and you're just now regrouping and getting started. However you're doing it, you've got to sit down with your sponsor, whoever you're working with, write your vision statement, but write your business plan. Like, what is your avatar? Not everybody is attracted to the same things. Some people want to save the world through helping people drink clean water. Some people want to save the world by getting rid of obesity through Slender Eyes. Some people want to build by teaching people about clean air. Some people want to build by de-wrinkling. Some people want to build by all of it. For me, and women of my age, I want to be not so fat and get rid of wrinkles, you know? So Slender X and Jovet, that's my passion. You know, that's my avatar. That's the market that I want to go after. But everybody, you know, you can do a piece of each, or you can figure out your avatar. What is your business plan? But don't go out there looking for people who want to lose weight and tell them, you know, these products can help you lose 50 pounds if you're 50 pounds overweight. They are not going to listen to you. You have to be a product of the product. You want people to follow you. You have to earn. You have to lead by example. And that's why rank advancements are so important to me. That's why I'm always pushing, and the people on this call know who you are, when I'm pushing you to rank advance. Because I want people to know, I've been here for 6 months and this is my pin level. And yes, this is doable. But it's only doable if you get outside of yourself and decide that you believe in enough on you, in your journey, in your company, in this industry. It is so incredibly powerful. It is so powerful. And I want everybody to know that you can have this. You can have it, but you have to make a choice. And excuses, I mean, I just don't even go there. People who know me well, they know I don't do drama. I don't. I'm tired of listening to people telling me how hard it is and how hard they're trying and how they need more training. And that's not what's lacking. What's lacking is the gumption to walk into a place or to show up at an event, you know, maybe a BNI. I mean, it's so interesting because that's where Rick and I met. I went to a networking event and I met him there. You know, some people start meetup groups to meet people. There's so many ways, but you have to put your plan together. And it starts with your belief. You've got to own it. And I could keep talking for another 3 hours about this, and I don't even know what time it is if I've been talking for an hour, and I have, and I know I have. But I just want to say to everybody that I am so proud of all of you for being here. I love this industry. I love this industry because it allows somebody like me and somebody like all of you, most of whom are way more skilled than me. It allows an ordinary person to create an extraordinary life. And the fact that I get to sit here on a Saturday morning with all of you is such a blessing for me. Because if one thing I said impacts you to take your life to another level, and I know that I played even this much of a part in your success, that is what fills me. That is what motivates me. That is what gives me the greatest passion. This is a powerful industry, and I just, if you want it, you've got to take the steps to do it. If you've been here a long time and you haven't gotten where you want to get, then you start and make this the first day of your business. Make today the day you start. The same way I did. I was in it 4.5 years before I got started. I thought I had started, but then I realized I wasn't started. I was just hanging out, wishing I could do it, scared to talk to anybody, and trying to save the world by, you know, giving them what I had so they'd feel good about me. I mean, that's the reality of it. But the reality of network marketing is that this is one powerful business, and yes, it is a business. And you can do it part-time, you can do it full-time, but you can't do it in your spare time. You've got to decide where this fits in your life. If this is your business, you need to own it. You got to get your vision and make sure it's one, not what other people think you should have, but in here, what you think you want, what you know you want at your core. What you would do in the morning when you wake up when time and money are not an issue. Then you've got to own the industry. You've got to be proud of the industry you've chosen and not try and slip it in the back door when somebody asks you what you do. You can't do that when you're proud of where you are. And then you've got to go out with your shoulders head high and your head held high with your vision and let people know that you're picking your team. In corporate America, you didn't get to pick who sat next to you. That's the best part of this. You get to choose your team. And I can talk to somebody and think, nope, I don't think I want you. That's a whole lot different posture than begging people to join. So you can have someone sign on the dotted line and throw somebody in the download. So with that, I am going to stop. And I want you guys to know that I'm going to be doing trainings once a month and different topics. And we're going to start really really aggressively doing some more things, but and I'm looking and I see questions, and I was going to do an hour, we're past. Maybe Rick, can I or can you unmute yourself maybe, and are there some questions that maybe we could throw out? Can you pick a couple that I can answer while I'm here? I'm going to take just 5 minutes. Or I think maybe I will, let me see if I can do it.
Yeah, I'm just looking through them here.
There you are. Let's just do like 3 questions. So I want to honor the time schedule that we had.
Just one question. It says one question for the group is, when a prospect asks you what you do you come out and tell them network marketing? I think you just answered that.
Yes, I do. I tell them I'm a serial entrepreneur, actually.
There you go.
That's what I say, because that's what I am. I'm an entrepreneur. I'll never go back.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other questions, just comments.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I hope you found some value in this. And most importantly, I hope everybody will do some soul searching and decide where this business fits in your life. And put your vision on paper. Reach inside. That's the hardest part. It is the hardest part, especially for women. They struggle because they spent their whole life raising kids, taking care of others. And I say to them, what is your dream? They don't know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, you won't get there. You gotta, you've got to know your path, and what you have on this paper has to be so powerful that it'll make you work through the challenges, all the tough times. Draw your line in the sand, say failure's not an option, own it, believe in your products, use your products, believe in this industry. If you don't, study until you do, and then work on you, because that's where it all lies. God bless everybody. Thanks for being here. Happy Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Lynn.
You're welcome.